wife is pretty and cool. Chapter 1, Miss Loser Reborn. The Land family and Mo family were to be joined in marriage, which was explosive news in Wrong City. Everyone knew that the Mo family was extremely powerful. With their distinguished status, even a yawn could cause the tides to turn. Because of this, everyone thought it was a blessing for the Land family to become associated with the Mo family. But secretly, they knew that Mo Jinrong, the eldest young master of the Mo family, was ugly, old, and would jinx his wife. It was rumored that Mo Jinrong had as many as 5 fiancés, but unknowingly, all of them were met with accidents on the eve of their marriage. Behind closed doors, people in Wrong City thought that Mo Jinrong might actually eat people. Grandma, I don't want to go. I don't want to marry Mo Jinrong. In the Land family's old mansion, a beautifully dressed girl lay on an old lady sobbing. Sweetheart, they are the Mo family. After you are married into the family, you won't just enjoy endless glory and wealth. You will become the young mistress of the entire Wrong City. The old lady said with a pained expression. But Mo Jinrong is old and ugly. He has a bad reputation. Grandma, I'm scared. The girl's face was strained with tears. Grandma, I'm begging you. Don't make me marry into the Mo family. The old lady cherished her deeply. She patted her back in a hurry, feeling conflicted. But this is your grandfather's decision. We, the Land family, keep our promises. We won't break them. The girl rolled her eyes and her cries softened. She was choked up while saying, Doesn't Uncle have a daughter of the right age? Let her go. Then we wouldn't be breaking our promise. The old lady's eyes lit up, the former despair disappearing from her eyes. Yeah, you're right. I'll call your uncle right now and get him to bring his daughter back. Anyway, she is someone that will only bring misfortune to the Land family, so it wouldn't matter if she died. The patter of light rain persisted, and a dark figure walked out of the woods. She had a pale and clean appearance, a little mole near her ear, and could be recognized at a glance. She was the eldest lady of the Land family, Lan and Ran, who was abandoned in the countryside. Lan and Ran was in a good mood. Today she found Ling Zhu grass that had been cultivated a long time ago. Now she had the right materials for her new medicine research and development. When she returned to the abode hut, the mobile phone placed on the corner suddenly rang. Lan and Ran picked it up and began to read the unread messages on the screen. The baizu fruit you placed on consignment has been sold, and the payment has been credited to your account. Please verify. Your account ending in the number 1117 has successfully received 5,380,000 yuan today. Boss, the baizu gu has been sold, but there are too many people asking for it. Someone wanted me to ask if there were any more and when it would be available again. Lan and Ran ignored the first 2 pieces of information and picked the last one to reply. No, we will discuss this later. She threw the phone on the table casually, ready to wash her hands and handle her herbs. Lan and Ran, someone is here to see you, the village head shouted with an accent. Got it. Lan and Ran's face was calm, as she knew everything. Earlier today, she had picked up all the flowers and her herbs she accumulated over the years, as if it was all for this moment. She put down the flowers and herbs in her hands and walked out of the house. At the entrance, there was a man in his early 40s, dressed in a suit. The man had an elegant appearance, and both hands were in front of him. He seemed a little at loss, but at the same time excited. Lan An Ran was taken aback and called out subconsciously, "Dad?" The girl's soft voice made the man standing in front of her even more nervous. His joy was beyond words. Lan Ting Young had imagined the appearance of his daughter many times, but after meeting her, Lan Ting Young's mind was completely blank. Lan An Ran could feel the love and caution from the man in front of her. She took 2 steps forward with tears in her smile. "Dad!" This passionate call pulled Lan Ting Young back to his senses, and he hugged the daughter in front of him. He choked a little and called out joyfully, "An Ran, my good daughter!" Lan An Ran was wrapped in his arms. She couldn't help but closing her eyes, not wanting to let her tears flow down. After waiting for so many years, she finally saw her father again. Lan An Ran was sent to the countryside as a child. When she was born, the old lady of the Lan family had sought out a master's divination. If she lived in the Lan family, she would die before the age of 10. Her life was filled with evil spirits, and no matter where she grew up, she would bring bad luck to the people around her. Lan Ting Yun didn't believe the nonsense from the master, but by coincidence, not long after Lan An Ran was born, the Lan family's business plummeted, and old Master Lan fell seriously ill. That was not all. Even Lan An Ran was sent to NICU for rescue several times because of various accidents. Due to the family pressure and also the health of their daughter, Lan Ting Young and his wife tearfully sent her away to be fostered in the countryside. In her last life, Lan An Ran listened to the slander of those with ill intentions, thinking that her father didn't care about her at all and had sold her to the Mo family for higher benefits. She was frustrated with her father and had disturbed the peace in their family. In the end, her father had vomited blood and died because of her. Her mother had also passed away because she couldn't stand the loss, and the entire Lan family fell into the hands of outsiders. Her reputation was ruined, and she became a jinx in everyone's eyes. Even Mo Jin Rong left her in the end. That was when she knew the cage he put her in was all the protection he could give her. He used his life to protect her, and she had abandoned him. She completely believed in Lan Jackson, and it was only when Jackson pushed her off the cliff with her own hands did she know that everything was caused by her. An Ran, you're not worthy of anything in this lifetime. She watched Lan Year's smile disappear from sight little by little. The next time Lan An Ran opened her eyes, there were no longer tears of excitement from the reunion. Her eyes were clear. Since the heavens allowed her to relive this life, she would protect her family well. In this life, no one could deceive her anymore. If so, let that person go to hell. Chapter 2. She owed him too much. Lan An Ran concealed the hatred in her eyes very well, and the next time she looked at Lan Ting Young, she was still an innocent, charming, and obedient daughter. She opened her doe-like eyes and asked innocently, "Dad, why are you here?" Lan Ting Young was covered in tears. Who said that his daughter would become a savage and rude country girl after being raised in the countryside? His daughter was clearly a simple little girl, just like a white piece of paper, without the slightest bit of resentment. I'm here to pick you up and go home." Lan Ting Young was choked up. Even his words were incomplete. Even after boarding the car, Lan Ting Young was still immersed in the joy of retrieving his daughter. He could barely form complete sentences. The Lan family house was in east of Rong City. It was a half-day journey from this village. The atmosphere in the car was a little awkward. Lan Tingyong didn't dare to speak and didn't know what to say to get closer to his daughter, who he hadn't seen in such a long time. But Lan and Ran's brain was spinning quickly. In her past life, on the day she was taken home, Father Lan came alone as well, which made her feel unvalued and unloved. It worsened after she returned home when others tried to sow discord between her and her father, making her unwilling to get along with her family. Lana and Ran suddenly broke into a cold smile. In this life, what kind of surprises awaited her? Although Lan Ting-young didn't know what to say, he had been paying close attention to his daughter. When he saw the arc at the corner of his daughter's mouth, he was momentarily taken aback and subconsciously started to explain. Your mother wanted to come along to pick you up, but she was hospitalized and her condition didn't allow her to travel long distances. Your brother is taking care of her in a hospital. So, this time, Lan Ting-young lowered his head guiltily. He was an incompetent father and husband. Lan and Ran returned to her senses and realized that her father was explaining this because he was afraid that she would feel left out and unwelcomed by the family. She pursed her lips, and when she spoke, there was a slight hesitation from a sense of nostalgia. What's wrong with Mom? Is it serious? Can my brother take care of her? In her past life, she was immersed in her own world and had disregarded her mother. She was vaguely aware that her mother was ill at the time, but she didn't know whether it was serious or not. Now that she thought about it, she was really unfilial. But it doesn't matter. In this life, she would not follow the same footsteps again. Lan Ting-young was a little surprised, but mostly touched. He didn't expect her to be so understanding and take the initiative to ask about her mother's illness. The doctor cannot diagnose her illness. She is very weak and needs long-term rest, so your brother is taking care of her. And Ran, are you angry that they didn't come with me? I am not angry. Mom's health is the most important thing. I am back, and from now on, we will have a lot of time together. Dad, I hope all of you won't find me annoying. I will definitely protect all of you and this family. Lan and Ran spoke cheekily, but a sharp gleam of light flashed in her eyes. Lan Ting-young felt uncomfortable. His daughter was so sensible. She didn't blame them at all, and she was being so thoughtful. Good, good. Our family will live a complete and peaceful life. Don't worry, Dad. Dad will protect you at all costs. The image of her father in her past life supporting her, despite being old and decrepit, overlapped with the middle-aged man who was sitting in the car with tears in his eyes. The sight made Lan and Rand's nose feel sore and tears started to fall down her face. No, don't cry, Ayn Rand. Don't cry. It's okay. It's okay. Lan Ting-young was at a loss. He could only pat her shoulders to comfort her. Lan Ayn Rand suddenly rushed into his arms, her small face buried in his clothes. It was as though a river gate had opened as her sobbing gradually grew louder. Lan Ting-young didn't know what she was thinking about and thought that she couldn't control her emotions and being taken home so abruptly. He wrapped one hand around her shoulder, gently patting her back with the other. My dear daughter, don't cry. Dad is here. You won't suffer anymore. The car drove all the way into the courtyard and stopped at the entrance of the villa. Lan An got out of the car behind Lan Ting-young. Bonjour. The car drove all the way into the courtyard and stopped at the entrance of the villa. Lan and Ran got out of the car behind Lan Ting-young. Before she could take a good look at the Lan family courtyard, she was interrupted by a joyful call. Dad, is she my sister? Lan and Ran looked up to see a boy slightly younger than her standing in front of her. He had soft hair and looked like he came from a wealthy and powerful family. He didn't conceal the joy on his face at all. It was a sincere happiness that came from the heart. The boy hopped to Lan and Ran's side, fumbling about and glanced at her with a curious expression. There wasn't a hint of disgust at all. "Are you my sister? My name is Lan Yanran. I heard my father say that your name is Lan Anran, right?" "Yes." Lan Anran nodded slightly, looking like a lady, and her eyes flashed with love. "Yeah, from now on, I have an older sister. I will be the most favored prince in the world." Lan Yanran danced happily, holding Lan Anran's hand, wanting to spin in circles. Lan Tingyung looked at the two siblings from the side with a living smile on his face, but he pretended to be angry and said, "Yan Ran, your sister just returned home. Don't fool around." "It's okay, Dad. I'm happy too. I have a younger brother." Lan and Ran looked at the lively younger brother jumping around in front of her, and her heart softened. In her past life, she made too many mistakes. Her brother may be younger than her, but no matter what happened, he would always defend her with his small body. He was more sensible than her, seemingly to be more like a guardian angel. However, she had listened to a lot of the slander in the past and had always loathed her younger brother, blaming him for taking away all the love of their family. In the end, her brother gave up his cherished performing arts to run errands for her and even dedicated himself to a fat and ugly old woman for her sake. When she found Yan Ran, he was tortured beyond recognition, and his melodious voice was ruined. She owed him too much, but it didn't matter. In this life, she wouldn't make the same mistakes again. She would protect him so that he could pursue his interests without worry.